who's the proponent of Peotone? I mean, we talk about in general terms, but who's driving the desire to spend $100 million down there? Who fails to see what you see?
Governor Quinn made promises during the campaign that he would build Peotone, so he's trying to live up to those. There's also Jesse Jackson in the congressional delegation is pushing hard.
Jesse Jackson's pushing hard.
That's what I said. In the delegation,
19.
not the
Right.
whole,
That's
not the whole delegation. That particular congressman. So I think those are the two drivers.
You also have to remember, I think, from what this airport means to us, the people in the Will County area believe that that's what it can do for them. And so I don't blame them for wanting to add more and more services to an area that has seen substantial amount of growth over the years. So there is a large public voice down there from the Joliet area and expanding that want to see this done. So there is a large number of legislators as well as a constituency that not just Quinn, but Blagojevich before them, and this thing originally started with even George Ryan because of the, again, people that were pushing it down there. So there's a history, but I think the one comment that was really made about the fact that if you know it's not going to work, at some point we ought to be adult enough to say, okay, you guys got enough down there. You got your boats, you got your intermodal hub, you got our racetrack. You know, why don't you give us something? So
the state representative who represents this district is not here. Was he invited? Judge Jefferson?
Yes. He was.
And did he say anything to you?
We invited him, and he's either circling for a parking spot or he's decided not to. You'd have to talk to him directly as to why he's not here. Yes.
Does anyone know how much money has been spent on Peotone, state and or federal dollars?
63 million.
About $63 million so far.
Just so I'm correct, the $63 million has already been spent, and then we're trying to spend another $100 million on
That's
it?
correct.
What do you propose? I mean, $63 million has already been funded into this. Do you consider that just lost money now? Or is there something that...
Well, the $63 million was meant to acquire land. And the additional $100 million would be used for that purpose also. But it's going to take a lot more money to finish even the acquisition of the land by the time that's done.
And that's a point I would just add. If you look at the 160 or so million we're talking about, what does it take to actually develop the airport and develop all of the road and infrastructure that leads up to it and all of the hangars and other buildings? We're talking billions of dollars here in developing something new that already exists. Let's be smart about how we're spending taxpayers' dollars.
Okay, and then since the land is already acquired, what do you propose happens because now it's there? It's already paid for at least $63 million worth of land. So what do you propose happens with that land at this point? So it's not just a waste of money.
Well, you don't spend billions to try to justify a waste of money of $63 million already. I would just suggest that they find out maybe commercial development or leaving it as agriculture. But I have no idea. But that airport was started without the consensus of the people of the state of Illinois. It's been contentious from the beginning. And just because $63 million of our taxpayers' dollars have been spent on it to date does not justify spending one more cent on it. It's not necessary.
I guess I'm really not asking in a way of justifying it, just as your suggestion, since it's already paid for, as to maybe what to do with it.
Well, it's still being farmed today. Yeah. It's being leased out and farmed. Yeah.
Have you had conversations with the FAA about this issue? Certainly they will play a role in deciding the airport.
Well, we actually had Secretary LaHood visit our facility last year. In fact, it was November 13th of last year when he came through the Rockford facility. And we did what we do with all visitors. We took them to the threshold of the 10,000-foot runway and let them look down almost a 2-mile stretch of incredible improvements at this facility and raised impressed with it. But the decision to go ahead with this is a state-driven decision. Somewhere down the line, however, they're going to have to, the state of Illinois is going to have to look to federal funding in order to build this. The money's not there. And so why should we stand by and see money committed that's not there to build an airport that's not necessary?
The other key element is the two airlines that would probably use this, United and American, have no interest whatsoever in Peotone. And the passenger facility charge that they would be asked to pick up is what would be bonded to pay off the improvements, the state portion of it. And they're not interested whatsoever in expansion there. They've got a new runway now approved finally at O'Hare, and they think that that's going to last them for easily 30 years of passenger growth for O'Hare. They have no interest in Peotone.
Yes, sir.
I just got a comment. I'm just a common, ordinary person. I just can't understand how the state of Illinois, which can't pay its bills to everybody, schools and everything else, they look at this and it's not going to cost less. It's just going to be more and more and more. As you've all said, we have a facility here that a lot of people use. We use it. It's perfect. I'm involved with schools in Peotone. Everybody knows schools are just hurting something fierce. The state does not pay its bills, and yet the state still talks about this. My thought is, I think everybody's got to take their ties off, unbutton their shirts, and we all got to get in there and say, cut this nonsense out. Get rid of that nonsense. Let's pay for what we got to have. That airport is not needed.
Appreciate that very much.